Hey everybody, what's going on? I am over here at Scott's Basement of Doom once again. We never play at my place at the Ivory Tower because it's small, it's a condo and all that. And plus, I mean, look at this great table. Who wouldn't want to play on this one here? We are playing the first D-Day British game. He's using a D-Day German list, and I'm using a D-Day British list. Only because I'm slightly familiar with what I'm taking, even though they're all his models. Let's go through what we've got. First of all, we rolled up on the mission chart, and we end up with free for all. We were hoping for something a little bit more flavorful, but free for all is what we rolled, so we've already deployed. I have a Desert Rats rifle company as my formation, so I have some of them are in here. So that's the full platoon with the light mortar and the Piat, and these are the guys with the five. They're reluctant or war weary or whatever it's called. So they only rally on a 5+. So I've got one unit over there in support. These are Churchill Crocodiles. I've got the magnetized trailers. As soon as I move up, I'll attach the trailers. I've got some 6-pounders. Some 17-pounder armed Achilles back here. These 4.2 centimeter mortars are actually just the regular mortars. Just that's the models he had. I've got some HMGs up here on the tree line. I've got my other platoon in here. The command elements. I've got 3 Cromwells and the attached Firefly. And the reason why the deployment's a little bit weird because we're playing with bocage. So all of these hedges, so this is my old Luke Amelia, Lucage from the Mines of Amelia back in the day, plus 4 boxes of hedgerows that he had kicking around. We're playing them as bocage. So the only difference between that and a regular hedge is it's tall and grants bulletproof cover to infantry. So that's where I've set up for now. Scott, now that you're back,
Yep.
go through your list.
Sure.
Yours is from D-Day as well.
It is. It's D-Day German list. The Panzer Grenadier Recon formation base. So the formation, headquarter guys here. Oh, I did forget their half tracks.
Oh, no, they're not there. They broke down.
Yep. So the half tracks for the command guys.
Mm-hmm. And that's the new 250 models?
No, these are old resin ones.
Oh, the old resin ones.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I scored a whole heap of them.
Excellent. You spearhead the other.
Yeah, so the Pumas are a part of the formation. I spearheaded those and then moved the 7-man platoon without vehicles up there.
Mm-hmm.
The 251-9s with the short 75s are part of the same formation.
Mm-hmm.
And the other platoon of 5 with their 5 half tracks is down here. So both platoons have Panzerfaust. You can't get Panzerschrecks for them.
So Panzerfaust, remind me again, is that the one where there's...
It's just one shot.
It's anybody that's got it. Okay, yeah, I like
Correct.
that one.
So every stand has it. They only get one shot each to use it.
Yeah.
And the 37mm on the command half track is free.
Yep.
Then in support, I have a Panther platoon.
Mm-hmm.
These were the Panthers I did for the article.
Yeah, no, they look fantastic.
Stu 42s.
Yeah.
With the big gun.
And 88s.
288s and the Pack 40s.
So we were discussing earlier how, you were lamenting the fact that you've got 88s on such a bocage table, but realistically, this is a great spot. You're overwatching down this lane here. You're overwatching down this lane here. But most importantly, and I think I forgot to mention, I do have a Typhoon, which is going to be hunting Panthers. So,
yeah.
I mean, if there's nothing for these guys to shoot at, just shoot at the Typhoons. Wicked. So that's where we're at. We're going to drink coffee, potentially have a scotch. It's 10 o'clock in the morning here. Scotch o'clock somewhere, and we'll catch it after turn 1. All right, turn 1 is pretty uneventful. I rolled first, so my planes and my mortars couldn't range in. I advanced the Churchills up. I advanced the infantry up. I advanced the 6-pounders up a little bit. The 17, the Achilles are basically waiting for on the power play for whatever whatever the Panthers do, they're there to react. My initial plan was to move the HMGs up and take free shots at these guys, thinking that because they moved there in the spearhead that they were out in the open, but they deployed there, so they're in foxholes, so that wasn't maybe such a great idea. I moved the infantry up into these buildings, and these lads over here, with their excellent 28-inch cross-country dash with the Cromwells, are repositioning so that really these Pac 40 is the only thing defending that objective right now. Well, the Stews, but we'll have to move in, so we'll see what I can do in upcoming turns, but they were able to deploy. Again, these are tall because they count as bocage, which is why. Otherwise, this would be suicidal. But so that was my turn 1, and on to Scott's turn 1. Look at his nice stormtrooper shirt, embracing his stormtrooper moves.
Right.
Which you're gonna fail. Go ahead.
Okay, so starting on the left. So I cross-checked my and terrain dashed my transports. 2 of them didn't cross-check, the other 3 did, so they're just short of the bocage.
So they terrain dashed?
Terrain dashed, yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Even better.
Yeah. The Panthers moved up just short of the hedgerow.
Tall hedge, yeah.
Those guys didn't move. The 2 command half tracks moved from back here up to here.
Mm-hmm.
Pumas didn't move. Command team entered the building here. This platoon entered the building here.
And shot and killed 2 of my dudes.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
Oh, wait, but they're your dudes.
88s didn't do anything.
Yeah.
The Stu 42s terrain dashed to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do anything.
What's their front armor, these guys?
I think it's 7.
Okay.
Yeah, 7.
All right, cool. Now it'll be my turn 2, and we'll see what happens. All right, on my turn 2, I got my Typhoons in. Since I'm over here, I'm just going to do what happened. Sorry, what? Yeah, so the 2IC that had moved from right here on my previous turn and then got abandoned on my turn, this guy here ranged in through that little gap with the mortars, and I was able to take one out on the first salvo. I got him on the first range in, and they're pinned, which is excellent. These guys, I actually forgot to move them, so they're stuck there. I moved the lads. No, these. Yeah, I think I moved these up. Shot into here and did nothing. Because I lost 2 here, I tried to dig in, failed, so they're just sitting there. These mortars obviously hit the Pac 40s. I failed a cross check with one of the Achilles. The other 3 made it to here. I just kept moving up my 6-pounders. Failed a cross check over yonder with my Crocs, my 1 Croc. I had 2 bocages to pass, so these 2 made it to here. So because he dashed and I moved my infantry up, my plan was to kill these guys and hopefully cause wreckage to block these guys, but in a heroic, the 88s shot at my Typhoon, both missed, and then I hit him on the first range in and blew up 2. It was just unreal. These lads end up assaulting the remaining half tracks. The 2 bailouts were captured, and then this 1 remaining guy fell back. So now it passes to Scotty's turn 2, and we'll see if the lone Panther stays on. Otherwise, this flank may collapse shortly. All right, Scott. It's too bad that isn't liquor in there. Shortly to be?
It's not that too late in the day. Well, that was woeful. My dice, dice totally sucked.
Yes. So
I can't think. So I did unpin. I unpinned my packs.
Yes.
I moved my my Stu 42s up, and I shouldn't. I should have left them back here. Ranged in with this guy on the infantry, but instead I moved them up, not realizing they were Stu 42s.
Machine gun.
They machine gun. They killed 1 guy. They did absolutely crap.
Well, no, they killed 2 guys and pinned them.
No, okay, 2 guys and pinned them. Woohoo!
Well, that's better than.
I managed to cross check here, move these guys up. 8 machine gun shots, 1 hit, and he saved. Waste of time.
No, but because you got 4 hits here and 1 hit here, this is the only reason why they're pinned.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It was useful.
Yeah, not really. Compared to what you did, no.
Well, no, compared to what happened.
So the Pumas I moved up to the flank.
missed.
The 259s, 251-9s I moved up here. Both of those fired. All I managed to do was bail out.
Two bailouts, yeah.
Yep. My infantry fired out of this building, flanking to that snow shield. I pinned them, and that was it. My Panther came down here, missed 2 shots at the Churchills. I fired my...
But he stayed in. Let's.
Oh, yeah.
Like he didn't run.
Yeah, past his last stand.
Yeah.
I fired HMGs in the 37 at there and did nothing. So overall, that was a really terrible turn.
Yeah. I can't disagree.
Like really
I think
bad.
shortly we're going to see the
I think
the power of the firepower.
I like my British list that Dennis is using with my models better than my German list that I just crash painted for today.
Well, maybe that's why. Yeah. The Panthers are stellar. It's just too bad the Typhoons had to wreck them.
Yeah.
Hashtag sorry not sorry.
I just have ever experienced such bad dice rolls ever.
So I'm going to go through my turn 3. It was pretty extensive. Over here, moved my Cromwells and Firefly up to the hedge. Fired into here and killed 2 Stu 42s, one with the Firefly and one with 2 shots from the Cromwell. My mortars that were ranged in failed to hit. I, of course, got the Typhoon again. And Scott didn't want to use this 88 to shoot at the Typhoon because he's going to be shooting downrange that way. So he shot this one here at him and he hit, but I made my save. Over yonder, I didn't move any of the infantry because why not? Or why bother?
Yeah, you just moved them into the building.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I didn't move them up. Yeah, I just moved, well, because of all the casualties. Then there was room in the buildings. Over here, one of the 2 bailed out Achilles remounted. These guys actually unpinned with the 5+ because they're reluctant. Oh, yeah, these guys needed the CO around. Because they were pinned, I did pass the on the reroll the 5 up. So these guys here, I think I only managed to kill, out of all of this stuff here, I only managed to kill 1 vehicle. In a comedy of errors, I moved the infantry up. I shot into his flank with the Piat, missed. I moved the rest of the infantry up here for the assault, but really didn't need to because this was an unbelievable amount of craziness. So each of the crocodiles gets 6 shots. So at 18 dice, I hit 6 of them, and with the flamethrower rule, he has to reroll saves. So I end up roasting 4 of them. So there's 1 dude left here. I figured if there's only 1 dude left here, there's the infantry that was here couldn't really assault because I was going to assault the front lines. So instead, I assaulted. The Piat missed, and somehow the grenades from the regular infantry were able to bail out the Panther and capture him. So Scott's willing to play out to keep going. He was pretty mad. I mean, I would be too. It's a very epic Dennis level of bad dice rolling, and he even busted out a new set of dice, and we tested to see if the saves would have been any better, and they would have been worse. He would have gotten 2 bailouts in the assault instead of just 1. So shout out to Adam Brooker of what is it?
Dices of War.
Dicesofwar.au or whatever. Yeah. So those new dice would have failed him even worse.
Terrible dice.
Terrible dice. No,
Thanks,
they're awesome dice. They're just, it's just not his day today.
It is not.
So we're going to keep going, but that's where it stands. It's looking pretty grim, but we'll see if he can grab a couple platoons here shortly.
You're forced to.
Oh, I'm taking Typhoons. So we're going to call it. Scott's dice didn't get any better at all, unfortunately. So after getting melted down over here, he attempted to move the half tracks over to protect the objective, and these 2 bogged down like You just can't get a win. You just can't get a win. What else hilariously failed? Oh yeah, your stew. Your stew, of course, didn't stay in even with the commander reroll. The commander's right in here. Like the 88s were fine. They unpinned. Everybody unpinned. But the lone remaining stew 42 didn't get back in. And then on his turn, he tried everything he had. Because this is still they're pretty vulnerable to all this 89. And again, his dice. It's just his dice. Just he bailed. He killed one. And he had bailed it out, and then it turned out that was the only one that the one guy could see, and he killed him. So we're gonna call it there. In terms of lists, we've had a nice scotch and a. There we go. So we've had a scotch and a smoke. So let's have a fireside chat, shall we, about your list?
Sure. So
this victory brought to you by Maker's Mark. So your list, we were talking about what you would do differently.
Yeah, so I have a couple of list options that I looked at. That list is okay. It's just, I don't know why. It's just...
Well, the Panthers are nice, but you were forced to use the Panthers, to move the Panthers up, which isn't really what they're for. Like, Panthers need to be anti-tank stugs, basically, because they've only got a top armor of 1.
Yeah.
Which made them vulnerable to my assault with the grenades, and made them more vulnerable to my typhoons. Because honestly, if those were tigers, which we're about to discuss shortly, top armor 2 would have saved you from the assault and from the typhoon. So you had gone through as to what you were going to change with your list to get the tigers in and the Panthers out. And go ahead.
So I did use the recce. The recon platoon.
Or formation?
Yeah, the recon formation.
And sorry, in just because I don't play D-Day Germans, so what makes them different? Like what can they bring to the table that another, is that the 7.5 centimeter, are they part of the platoon? Like what makes it, like why'd you take the recon platoon?
Because of its formation. So the additional equipment you can bring in the formation. So I can bring the Pumas. I can bring 7.5 centimeter anti-tank guns.
Those are formation assets?
Yeah, all formation.
Okay, then that's the answer right there. That's perfect.
Yeah, the 251s with the
7.5s.
Yeah, with the 7.5. That's all formation.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
It's stupid, but I didn't even look at the D-Day German book when it came out, because I was like, no, my German, I don't. The only late war army I have is the Brits, so I didn't even take a look.
So it's the support stuff, because in the support I had the 288s, the 3 Stews, and the 3 Panthers.
So what would you swap out?
So the difference between 3 Panthers and 3 Tigers is 3 points. So it means that I would have to drop I'd drop the 88s, which are 6 points. I would replace them with 2 centimeter anti-aircraft cannons.
Right.
So higher rate of fire. And that would give me 3 points back as well to take the Tigers instead of
Panthers.
Yep.
So you're keeping the anti-tank. You're keeping the 88 gun.
No.
You're just mounting it. No, you're keeping the 88 gun, but mounting it on a tank.
Yeah.
So it's got a better remount.
Better remount.
Better side armor.
Side armor against Piats.
Top armor against Typhoons, because as we learned,
plus it's
85 on the Typhoons versus top armor was clutch.
Yeah. Plus it's a mobile gun as opposed to a fixed 88.
Yeah.
And the 2 centimeters, instead of firing 1 shot each at air, you're firing, I think, 4 or 5 shots.
Yeah.
So you're increasing your probability to hit.
But in terms of your infantry, you like the... I really like the mobility of the...
yes, and that's why I took them. Yeah. They're small platoons. They're only 5 stand or 7 stand platoons.
But they've all got MG42s. Like, they had more firepower than mine when we had that duel in that... in that town square there, yeah.
Yep, stationary, they're rate of fire 3, moving, they're rate of fire 2. Plus you've got the machine guns on the 250s and the 3.7 as well on the command vehicle.
Yeah.
So, as a platoon, it's actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. Like if you wanted to get up and engage stuff and get rid of it, like light stuff like infantry or mortars or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, their movement is pretty good, and I think that's why I wanted to try. And plus, they're scout, right? So if they're in concealing terrain, they get concealment.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They get gone to ground. I should
So
say.
they get scout, but so only the pumas retain spearhead. Is that right?
Only the pumas have spearhead.
Okay. Okay, now I see why to take that list. In terms of, like, we were using your models, which is why probably your dice rejected the fact that my dice were doing well for the first time ever, and your dice were doing Dennis levels of bad. Mm. Plus, I was using your models apart from the crop trailers. Like, that's not a list I would ever take because I don't have Cromwell's.
Yep.
But I will be taking the Desert Rat infantry, I think, because for a couple points less per, the 6-pounders only being 5 up though, to unpin was like, I got lucky that I got the 5 up.
Yeah.
But everything else was pretty cheap, and it allowed me to take the crocodiles.
The fact that you can take Achilles, you can take Crocs and a Cromwell platoon with a 5.
Well, now in the D-Day book, you can take 2 units of Achilles if you want.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And because they perform so well, I know I'll be painting planes for my War British.
And I mean, the Typhoons as a ground attack aircraft is pretty good.
Yeah, the rockets. Yeah, the rockets are good. I mean,
and it's an artillery template too. You're not getting a rate of fire 2, so you're hitting everything under your template. Yeah.
Well, you can shoot the guns. Like, it does have the Vickers
but,
guns.
I mean, the rockets is what keeps
the rockets is what everybody takes.
Yeah. And because it's treating the rockets as an artillery template, it's against top armor.
It's always been that way. Like the Sturmovik had it.
Yeah.
The old Typhoon had it. Well, thanks for the game. Sorry the dice were really bad, but we've had a nice little chat about it.
I have never had such a bad dice game ever. Like, literally ever.
I know. Like, every single dice throw you made.
Yeah.
And not only that, it wasn't just that. It was in every single dice throw, except for, I think, the hits on the 6-pounders was the only thing that, remember, I whiffed everything.
Yeah.
That was the only time that I had bad dice rolls.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, thanks for the game.
Yeah.
Sorry it was so one-sided, but it was the dice.
Hey, at least I have 2 late war army lists now, a German and a British.
German and a British, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck with my late wars. All right, thanks for the game, and we'll have another game sometime.